Just be out with us to Douro Valley with living tours. This is our second time to Douro Valley, and we been to Douro Valley before, where we actually stayed there, and we have the video for you in the description below. Today we are collaborating with Living Tours to bring you a day trip to Douro Valley. And we are going to be day drinking bright and early. It is 8:20 a.m. We just checked in their office. Right there behind us is their office, and it is right next to Sao Bento station.
And upon checking in, all you really need to do is present your name. Once you've booked your tour, they cross-check your name and they give you a card with a color. So our color is blue, so we know that we need to stay together with the group that is blue. So far, easy going, no problem. So, without further ado, let's get this tour on the road, shall we?
Just be out with us.
And we are here. Our first stop is a beautiful, charming town of Amarante. Now, it's our first stop to Douro. What we need to do is stop here for a restroom break and of course get something to eat. It is early in the morning, coffee maybe. So our first stop is here for 1 hour. We get to explore this little town. It's really pretty here.
And it looks like it's, I don't know if it's a river or a pond, but it is really beautiful. It's peaceful, super quiet. It was just a 50-minute ride, and we do have 40 minutes to walk around the town, grab something to eat or use the restroom before we get back on the bus for another 45-minute ride.
And on the bus, it's actually a lot of fun. The bus is very comfortable. They have all the amenities. If you need to charge your phone, they have USB chargers, speakers, air conditioning, and the seating is really, really comfortable. And we notice the bus that we're on, it actually seats about 28 people, but we did see smaller groups leave from Porto, and they were in smaller vans. So I guess depending on how many people are in the tour, specific tour you book, because they have a bunch of different tours, then that depicts the size of the vehicle that you'll be traveling in. Okay, so let's explore Amarante and see what it has to offer.
Is really charming. It's actually really nice to get a glimpse of the real Portuguese life outside of the big city.
There's a huge church right in the center of town. As Irina said, it's so quiet, it's relaxed, it's peaceful, it's calm.
And there is a really picturesque bridge heading to town, and this river. There are catamarans that you can rent out, but of course we don't have time for that.
Yeah, and these water bikes that you see people kind of just riding up the river with, so it's really cool. Okay, we gotta get going, we gotta get on board.
We just arrived to our first Douro Valley spot. This is Sevrosa village, and we are in a small winery, Casa dos Barros.
It's absolutely beautiful here. They have vines hanging all over the exterior of the house. And there's like a little maze and a little garden. It's really cool.
And now the owners will give us the tour of their winery. And of course, we will have a lunch included in our tour and wine tasting.
Who's hungry?
In a wine cellar, and our guide is about to teach us how to distinguish port wine. He gave us a 10-year-old wine, port wine to try, and before that he offered us some bread with olive oil and cheese.
So the way they're saying to taste the wine fully is take a sip of the wine, hold it for 4 seconds on the upper part of your palate, then 4 seconds on the lower, swish, then swallow. This way it coats the entire mouth and you can get all the flavors.
30-year-old.
It's the longest tour.
Yeah, for sure. Getting kind of awkward. Thank you for the joke.
Believe it or not, this one is so much smoother than the 10-year-old. When you sip the 10-year-old tawny, you do taste more of the alcohol right up front. And on this one, you don't taste as much alcohol, even though it is really strong. For the main course, you have an option, either codfish mixed with rice here, or pork with the side of mushroom risotto. And if you also want to have a vegetarian option, you can request it beforehand and they will accommodate you as well. Cheers!
Lunch here was absolutely spectacular.
And the view is epic as well. We had wines, 10-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old. We learned the difference. We learned how to tell the difference between them. And what's cool about this is that the lunch was included in our tour, and the wine was pretty much unlimited. They kept bringing more bottles of wine to the table.
Red and white, mind you.
And if you would wanted to drink more, they would bring it to you, but it was like 4-course meal. It was really awesome.
The food was great, including dessert and of course a shot of espresso to finish it all up. And now we're getting ready to head back into the bus, and now we're heading on the river. Yep, we're going on a boat ride.
Just be out with us.
Cheers!
We just arrived to Pinhao. This is the heart of Douro Valley. And if you have seen our previous video about Douro Valley, if not, we will leave the link in the description. We were staying in the town next to it, which is called Roeda, but Pinhao is even more picturesque. And our tour, believe it or not, includes a boat ride. Now we're heading on a 1-hour boat ride on Douro River. This boat ride is so relaxing, and the views are
Epic.
mind-blowing.
Epic.
All those wine terraces, we are passing by Quintas and those mountains surrounding the river from both sides. It's just stunning.
And we're always skeptic when it comes to doing tours and places we go, because a lot of it seems at times to be so touristy and such stuff like that.
And rushed.
Yeah. But with this tour company we're with right now, everything just seems so perfectly timed.
And well-paced.
Well-paced, most importantly, yes. And we've learned so, like, we thought we knew a lot because of the amount of time that we've been here, but we've learned so much on this. They're so knowledgeable.
And you get the best guide in the universe. Joanna is so knowledgeable and so much fun. She has so much energy.
Living Tour is one of the biggest tour companies you will find here in Porto, and they have a fleet of about five vans and buses.
And buses.
Yes, depending on how big your tour group is. So
they're very well organized. The check-in process was super
seamless
quick.
and easy.
And I didn't really know what to expect from the bus tour, but I am really impressed.
So now we can basically say we have done Douro Valley via train.
bus.
via bus, and now river.
The boat ride
Exactly.
as well. If you haven't seen our previous video of the Regua, we will leave the link in the description below. If you have time to experience Regua and Pinhao, definitely do so. If not, definitely do a day tour to Pinhao.
It's worth it.
And of course, if you want to do the same tour as we are on, we will leave the direct link in the description. It is super affordable and it is worth it and JBO approved.
And now, back to the views. This river cruise was about an hour long and very relaxing.
The breeze is so nice, and they actually do it also during winter months as well, because they have an area where they can close off the windows and you can still enjoy the views.
And being on the boat is a totally different feel than coming here by train or by car. It's different because you're in the lowest point of the valley and you look up and you see how massive these hills are. And you get to see how they harvest the grapes, the tractors, and you wonder, how do the tractors even get up there? It's incredible.
Now our next stop is the second winery, the second Quinta. This time we're going to a bigger winery.
See you there.
Looking storages that you see behind me is actually where they store wine, and these things have really funny name after a woman's name, because back in the days there was a really beautiful woman with beautiful breasts, and people named these storage containers after her name because it reminded them of her breasts. So funny. We just arrived to Quinta de Roeda. It is owned by Croft, and Croft was actually the first wine cellar, winery that produced pink wine here in Douro Valley. And there is pink port wine as well. Let's go try some. The tool that you see here behind me is actually a special tool to open vintage wine. Vintage wine bottles cannot be opened with regular cork wine opener. It has to be opened with a special tool because after being stored for 20 years, the cork begins to deteriorate and you don't want to cork to drop inside the wine. So they use this tool. The way they do it, they actually put this one into heat so it gets really hot, and then they put the bottle here in a circle so it heats up, and then they cool it down. That's how they take the cork out. All these grapes are being harvested by hand and being cared for by hand. They come with scissors and they trim these vines by hand, and when it's harvest time in September, they also hand pick all the grapes. Also here at Quinta de Roeda, they produce olive oil. This is my first time seeing olive trees, and they have little olives on them, but when they are ripe, you cannot actually just pick an olive and just eat it off the tree. They have to come through a process of soaking in the water, adding salt and spices, and then they are ready to eat. It's really cool. And of course we have the tasting of white, ruby and tawny. This is 7-year-old tawny. They're all served chilled and they are really delicious. They all pair with different things. For example, this ruby pairs well with chocolate, or this tawny pairs well with fruit desserts. Cheers. Come September, this pool turns into grape stomping and wine pool. And this is only for visitors for their own production. They have much bigger pools. And believe it or not, they actually stomp all their grapes by feet. And this is a traditional way of making port wine. And this tour is available during the harvest season in September. Now you might think, okay, it doesn't sound sanitary when hundreds of people stomp grapes with their feet, but once they add alcohol, it actually kills all the bacteria. And this is the traditional way that most port wines are being made. Cheers. Croft is the oldest winery here in Douro Valley, established in 1588. Behind me you see this ginormous oak wine barrel, and this is one of the ways they age the wine, in a large barrel like that. And also they use smaller wine barrels to make wines.
We are back.
Made it back. It is 6:30 p.m. and we just arrived back to Porto. It was a full day tour. We started at 8:20 a.m. was our first check-in, but I did not anticipate the tour to go this fast.
Yes, it went really fast, and that's normally, I guess, because we were having a really great time and we weren't even keeping track of time, and everything was just so very well put together, organized. It was great.
But it did not feel rushed. It felt really relaxing, educational, entertaining.
Very entertaining.
And eye-opening. And my favorite part of the tour was, well, besides the wine tasting and everything that we learned about Porto wine, is the boat ride.
Yes, the boat ride was really nice. Much better than I thought it would have been.
Yes, absolutely. And I thought this tour would be so long and exhausting, but I feel good. I feel energized.
Like we could still go out and do something.
Yeah, the bus was really comfortable. And to be honest with you, friends, I was not excited about this tour at the beginning, and I thought like, oh, it's gonna be so tiring to go from place to place, but it was really cool.
Yep. And a big shout out to Joanna. She made this trip a blast. She was so entertaining. She's
the best guy in the world, and
the galaxy.
Lucas, the best driver in the galaxy.
If
really
you know,
cool
you know.
People. Definitely recommend. Living Tours is JBO approved, and since you watched all the way till the end, of course we want to hook you up and give you a discount for your first booking. So we have the direct link to this tour. It was only 95 euros plus you get a discount, but the value is crazy. Just to give you a perspective, we went to Douro Valley on our own, and just for two people, train ride back and forth was 40 euros.
No lunch, no education,
no wine tasting,
no Joanna, no best driver in the galaxy,
and no winery tour. So for 95 euros per person, you get all this and the boat ride and lunch included. I don't know how they even make money off of this, because yeah, the value is just through the roof. We thank Living Tours for inviting us to this tour, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click like. This way it will help other people to discover this video, and we would appreciate a thanks from you as well.
So, obrigado for watching, and just be out with us. Cheers!